Australian tourists were reported missing there last week. Christina
Hi
Coleman.
guys, welcome back to XCOM Enemy Within.
Mysterious crime. Christina?
Hi, mysterious indeed. Yes, the bodies were found about 130 miles south of San Diego in an isolated area near La Bocana in Mexico. The surfers went missing in that area. State prosecutors haven't confirmed whether the bodies found there belong to the missing men. Their disappearance is still under investigation. During the search, family members of the missing surfers identified them as Jack Carter Rowe from San Diego and Jake and Kalen Robinson, two brothers from Australia. Their disappearance raising all kinds of concerns. Mexican officials say the pickup truck belonging to the American surfer was found burned near a remote area. They believe it was set on fire. Two men and a woman are considered people of interest in this case. They were taken into custody by Mexican authorities. They say the woman was found with a bag of drugs and a phone that belonged to one of the Australian surfers. Local residents say they fear for their safety.
I feel angry, fed up, and sad at the same time that you can't have these beautiful places anymore because you don't feel safe. I have a family. Part of what I like to do is to take my children to these places. If you can, to have a good time, to fish.
The families of the victims say they notified police that their loved ones were missing after they didn't show up to an Airbnb as expected earlier this week in another surfing area close to the border. The family members say the last time they heard from the missing surfers was last Saturday. Now, the FBI is in contact with the family of Jack Rowe, and officials within both the U.S. and Australian consulates are working together on this case. Aisha?
All right, stay on top of it for us. Christina Coleman live for us in Los Angeles. Thanks, Christina.
Customs and Border Protection sources tell Fox News that for 2 days in a row this week, more than 200 Chinese nationals were apprehended in the San Diego sector. On Wednesday, May 1st, 262 Chinese nationals were apprehended, and the next day, 223 were detained. Those 2 days total more than the 342 apprehended in all of fiscal year 2021.
How the testimony from former President Trump's aide, Hope Hicks, will affect the New York hush money trial. We're going to dig into it next.
Been there, done that, messed around, I'm having fun, don't put me down, I'll never let.
With Allegra, allergies won't hold me back.
I won't let you.
Allegra starts working 2 times faster than Claritin, and unlike Zyrtec, it won't make me drowsy. Nothing beats Allegra. It's the fastest non-drowsy 24-hour allergy relief.
Introducing Club Advantage. It's everything you need for weight loss and wellness all in one place. Join today and get a 30-day free trial by texting TASTE to 231231. Get unlimited access to high-protein meals, a dedicated support team, and personalized meal plans that work with any weight loss approach. No minimum purchase and no cancellation fees. Plus, get convenient delivery on your schedule free. Join today and get a 30-day free trial by texting TASTE to 231231.
For years, I've been sharing how Crepe Erase has helped my skin look smoother, firmer, and younger. And now the system I've loved for almost a decade is even better.
Now you can transform your skin from this to this with new Crepe Erase Ultra. Crepe Erase really works. That's why real women have given it thousands of rave reviews. It's the celebrity secret to younger and sexier looking skin.
Crepe Erase Ultra has taken years off my skin. The results have been magnificent.
And now, new and improved Crepe Erase Ultra is our best system ever.
It's clinically shown to instantly improve the look of dry, crepey skin.
Crepe Erase Ultra is something I recommend to my patients because it works.
And now there's more big news from Crepe Erase.
Introducing the Ultra Smoothing Neck Repair, an all-new breakthrough solution for the hard-to-treat skin on your neck. With age-defying results you have to see to believe. And you can get it today as a free gift with your order.
I think this might literally be the fountain of youth for the neck. The results are incredible.
Today, you can get the new Crepe Erase Ultra system for only $49.95. And we'll give you the Ultra Smoothing Neck Repair for free.
And we'll also give you this customer favorite, the luxurious 4-in-1 light smoothing couches for your face, free.
That little capsule is a power pack.
And to make this our best offer ever, when you order today, we're going to double your free gift, a $76 value.
There's never been a better time to try Creeper Race. Get all this, a $143 value for only $49.95, plus free shipping and a 60-day money-back guarantee.
If you're seeing the signs of crepe skin, don't wait. Now you can do something about it, and your results are guaranteed or your money back.
This is a limited time offer that will not last.
Call 1-800-915-8121 or go to GreatBeretSultra.com. Order right now.
I'm Richard Karn, and I love my hose. It ain't those old hoses, it's the new pocket hose copper bullet infused with real copper. Turn on the water, and it grows to a full-size hose. Turn off the water, and it shrinks back to a pocket-size hose with layered latex inside and a polymer jacket outside. It's 3 times stronger. Order your pocket hose copper bullet today and get the thumb drive spray nozzle free. Hurry, order now.
This is a story about the one. The untrained eye may not see the one as extraordinary, but her goals aren't easy. She fixes, she manages, she perfects. She is extraordinary. Because for the one, maintaining this space transports her to this space. The industrial grade product you need, plus 1 million more. Call clickgranger.com or stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
VIP back to the Sky Ranger as soon as possible. New objective.
So it was a pretty emotional day in the courtroom during day 11 of Trump's New York trial, as former White House advisor Hope Hicks recalled his concerns over damaging allegations. Madeline Rivera is live with the very latest on this trial. Maddie, what happened?
Hey, Aisha. Hope Hicks broke down in tears at one point as she testified before her former boss. Hicks, who worked for Fox Corporation for a time, laid out what the Trump campaign went through after they first learned about that infamous Access Hollywood tape back in October 2016. She described how the campaign scrambled to respond to the contents, which she said were a damaging development. This testimony is key for prosecutors trying to make the case that the fallout from the tape fueled Trump's team to try and squash more negative stories about his alleged affairs.
I think the prosecution made headway in all these witnesses just by showing that President Trump wanted to make sure that these stories didn't get out. That's the facts that they want to get out.
Hicks also mentioned Trump was concerned about what his family would think. Hicks testified he even asked for newspapers not to be delivered to their homes, saying Trump didn't want anyone to be hurt or embarrassed by anything that was happening on the campaign. And she criticized Michael Cohen, who she says would go rogue and do things that were frustrating to campaign staff. She says he used to like to call himself Mr. Fix-It, but it was only because he first broke it. Cohen is expected to be a key witness in the case. Today, Trump is back at Palm Beach, Florida. He's headlining the RNC Spring Donor Retreat, mingling with wealthy donors and possible running mates as he once again slams the trial for keeping him off the campaign trail.
We're in the courthouse instead of being in Georgia. We're in the courthouse instead of being in any one of them. I would say 10 states where I'd like to be right now.
Trump says he won't make a decision about a VP until closer to the Republican National Convention in July. Aisha.
A little different from what he said not too long ago. Madeline Rivera, thank you very much. You got it. Up close.
Aisha, for the latest on the New York trial, let's bring in former federal prosecutor and former attorney for former President Trump, James Trusty. Jim, welcome.
Hey, thanks, Mike.
So I guess the question everybody's asking is, what's the impact of Hope Hicks, a former Trump insider?
Yeah, hard to know. I mean, look, a couple things that I think are fascinating. Number one, I used to try long-term cases, RICO cases, death penalty prosecutions that would stretch for weeks. It was always a smart move to have an impactful witness on Friday afternoon. And you kind of want to leave the jury with something to think about. This was a very emotional bit of testimony. She actually substantively kind of helped both sides and hurt both sides. She talked about this issue of motivation for why they would do these lawful non-disclosure agreements. And part of the motivation was clearly political from her perspective. Part of it was he didn't want his wife to have to read these types of stories. Each side gets something to play with. I think ultimately, big picture, she's a helpful moment for the prosecution, but she still is pointing all arrows in terms of the substance of her testimony towards Michael Cohen. And she even had a few pot shots at Cohen. So if you're the defense, you want this whole case to be about Cohen's credibility. That's your best chance for getting a hung jury or an acquittal out of this thing.
Hicks testified the former president told her about Michael Cohen making payments. How damaging is that?
I think a lot of this is tawdry but non-criminal. You know, at the end of the day, there's no real fight about whether there were non-disclosure agreements. They're lawful. If they weren't lawful, Congress would be locked up by now. You know, so it's kind of absurd to focus on this stuff and act like it's criminal when it's commonplace. And they brought some of that out through the first witness, Pecker, about different celebrities that also do NDAs that are based completely on being a nuisance suit, like the doorman who falsely accused President Trump of having a kid out of wedlock. He got money out of that. So it's kind of a gross underbelly of the law, these NDAs, but there's nothing illegal about it. We're still trying to go, you know, the illegality jump, the felonization of these misdemeanors comes probably at the hands of Michael Cohen. I think that's tough sledding.
Let's show our audience the timeline of this New York case. July 2019, no charges. 2019, state prosecutors charged with Seth Probe aside. February 2023, Robert Bragg declined to move forward with the case. 2023, Bragg's office convenes grand jury. March 2023, Trump indicted on 34 felony counts. Based on your experience, how surprising is that series of events?
Well, it's very surprising. There's some other elements that weave into that. I mean, look, Michael Cohen was a failed cooperator. The Southern District of New York, not known for being timid in their prosecutions, set him up with his plea to be a guy that would testify against Donald Trump. They literally had a statement of offense for his plea agreement that referred to the president as co-conspirator one or some sort of title where it was pretty obvious that's who they were gunning for. He was such a bad cooperator that they walked away. And then the other thing to add to the timeline, that again, it's not necessarily a smoking gun, but I think it's a fair question, is Colangelo. You've got a guy who's at a political perch at DOJ, number 3 ranked at the Department of Justice. Bragg has said we're not going to do this case. Suddenly Colangelo gets homesick and says it's time to go back to New York, where he becomes the right-hand man for Bragg, and 3 weeks later they indict this case. So, you know, it's not crazy to talk about political motivation for this case as well as the other ones that have popped up against President Trump.
So you made reference to Michael Cohen, a former Trump insider, but he's been convicted of perjury and disbarred. So how does he have credibility in this case?
Yeah, well, I mean, 12 people are going to tell us whether he has credibility. And again, I think that the defense is best served by not attacking every witness full bore, but saving it, reining it in. You've got a wealth. I mean, I teach a criminal evidence class in a local college, and we just literally went through cross-examination rules. And I was like, oh, Cohen's on this one, on that one. I mean, to have a guy convicted of perjury is like the gold standard. To have a guy who goes to the media every day for years blasting and showing his bias against the defendant, that's another piece of you know, a gem for them to play with in cross-examination. That he's frustrated about not having a White House position. Can you imagine Attorney General going? So, you know, we've got all this stuff to cross-examine him on, inconsistencies. The best the government's going to be able to do is say, we've got corroboration over here and there, and that he's a bad guy, but he was Trump's bad guy. And that's really what they're going to have to argue. And the question is whether 12 New Yorkers, you know, feel like this case falls on Cohen's credibility. If you make them feel like it does, then even if they didn't have a predilection to acquit, they might move in that direction.
Jim Trusty, thanks so much for your time and your analysis today.
Sure, good to see you. See you.
Aisha?
Mike, a U.S. district judge will now decide whether a prominent search engine is an illegal monopoly. We're talking about Google, and in the case the Department of Justice is bringing against the tech giant, DOJ lawyers are arguing that the company spent more than $20 billion each year to lock out competition. Google says they're just delivering results that their customers are looking for, saying, quote, it would be an unprecedented decision to punish a company for winning on the merits.
A jury in New Hampshire awarding $38 million to a man who was beaten, raped, and held in solitary confinement as a teenager at the state's youth detention center. The amount awarded will be reduced to $475,000 under state law that caps damages. The jury found the state's negligence and allowed the abuse to occur, and more than 1,000 others have filed lawsuits against the detention center alleged abuse.
And Mike, we're also following some possibly big breaking news out of the Middle East today. New reports that a ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas may have been reached. Is Hamas really playing ball this time? Details next.
It's time. Yes, the time has come for a fresh approach to dog food. Every day, more dog people are deciding it's time to quit the kibble and feed their dogs fresh food from the farmer's dog. Made by vets and delivered right to your door, precisely portioned for your dog's needs. It's an idea whose time has come. We are people living with AFib. And over 400,000 of us have left blood thinners behind. For life. We've cut our stroke risk and said goodbye to our bleeding worry with the Watchman implant. We may be getting older, but we've never squeezed more out of life. And we are just getting started. Join us at Watchman.com. Watchman, it's one time for a lifetime.
Hello, this is Franklin Graham. Deadly tornadoes have torn through the Midwest. Homes lost, lives lost. People's lives are upside down to the point they don't even know where they're going to sleep tonight. Samaritan's Purse has teams on the ground right now responding. We want the people there to know that God loves them, that He hasn't forgotten them, He hasn't turned His back on them in the middle of these storms. God is still there. If you'd like to know how you can be involved, go to our website, SamaritansPurse.org. Thank you. God bless you.
At Quince, we make inexpensive, expensive things. We know it sounds like a paradox, but we just flipped the way luxury is made. Like washable mulberry silk, unbelievably soft leather jackets, fine Mongolian cashmere, all at a fair price. Get free shipping and 365-day returns at quince.com.
I can't wait for this damn weekend right.
Shingles doesn't care. Shingles is a painful, blistering rash that can last for weeks.
There's nothing like a day out with friends.
That's nice. But Shingles doesn't care. 99% of adults 50 years or older already have the virus that causes shingles inside them, and it can reactivate at any time. A perfect day for a family outing. Guess what? Shingles doesn't care. But Shingrix protects. Only Shingrix is proven over 90% effective. Shingrix is a vaccine used to prevent shingles in adults 50 years and older. Shingrix does not protect everyone and is not for those with severe allergic reactions to its ingredients or to a previous dose. An increased risk of Guillain-Barré syndrome is observed after getting Shingrix. Fainting can also happen. The most common side effects are pain, redness, and swelling at the injection site, muscle pain, tiredness, headache, shivering, fever, and upset stomach. Shingles doesn't care, but Shingrix protects. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Shingrix today.
Hi, I'm William Devane. Did you know there's only been 2 times in American history, 2, when the national debt was larger than gross domestic product? World War II and right now. That's a deep hole, and I don't know how we'll climb out. That's why I buy gold from Roslyn Capital. Roslyn Capital is a trusted leader in helping people acquire precious metals. Gold bullion, Lady Liberty gold and silver proofs, and premium coins can help you preserve your wealth. Call Roslyn Capital to receive your free Roslyn Guide to Gold, Gold and Precious Metals IRA, and Silver Brochure. With Roslyn, there are no gimmicks, no hassles, and they have fast, reliable shipping. Ask yourself, are you safe? Make gold your new standard. Call Roslyn Capital today at 800-630-8900. 800-630-8900. That's 800-630-8900.
An experimental F-16 fighter jet has taken Air Force Secretary Frank Kendall on a history-making flight controlled by artificial intelligence and not a human pilot. Kendall said he came out of Thursday's flight in California confident enough in AI's capabilities that he would trust it to fire weapons. The military is planning to use the technology to operate an unmanned fleet of 1,000 aircraft.
China has launched a probe to land on the far side of the moon and return with samples that could provide some insights into the differences between the less explored region and the better known near side, the one that we see all the time. 3 Chinese lunar probe missions are planned over the next 4 years, and China also has a 3-member crew on its own orbiting space station and wants to put astronauts on the moon by 2030.
We have an in-depth look at what one Republican congressman is calling a Cuban Missile Crisis in space. Russia's developing anti-satellite nuclear capability in what was previously an off-limits location. Here is Chief National Security Correspondent Jennifer Griffin.
The command to abort the launch has been issued.
For the second time in a year, Russia's space agency failed to launch a new heavy-lift rocket from its Far Eastern space complex, part of an effort to beat the U.S. in colonizing the moon. A third launch failed Tuesday, the same day Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin faced questions on Capitol Hill from lawmakers concerned about a more menacing aspect of the new space race, new intelligence suggesting Russia is developing an anti-satellite nuclear capability that would threaten U.S. space assets. If used in combat, it could blind the U.S. military.
It would have devastating consequences.
Concerns about anti-satellite weapons in space go back to 2007, when China first fired a ballistic missile at one of its satellites to demonstrate this new capability and threat. House Intelligence Committee Chairman Mike Turner raised alarm bells 2 months ago after seeing classified intelligence that suggested Russia planned to launch a nuclear anti-satellite weapon in space.
I believe that this is a Cuban Missile Crisis in space, and this administration is sleepwalking itself into an international crisis.
Last week, Russia vetoed a U.S. and Japan-sponsored UN resolution reaffirming the 1967 Outer Space Treaty, calling for nations to prevent a nuclear arms race in space. China abstained.
National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan called out Russian President Vladimir Putin, who has said publicly Russia has no intention of deploying nuclear weapons in space. If so, he asked, why did Russia veto the resolution? At the Pentagon, Jennifer Griffin, Fox News. Egyptian officials tell the Wall Street Journal that Israel has given Hamas 1 week to accept a hostage deal and agree to a ceasefire, or the planned invasion of Rafah in southern Gaza will begin. Ryan Chilcott is live with the very latest on this developing story. Hi, Ryan.
Hi, Aisha. A delegation from Hamas is in the Egyptian capital in Cairo right now, where they are considering that ceasefire proposal that they have received from the Israelis. And Egyptian reporting that there has been, quote, noticeable progress. The Egyptians are in a position to know. Egypt, along with the United States, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and other countries, a number of other countries in the region, have been negotiating this deal, working on this deal together with the Israelis. At stake, or I should say, most immediately at stake, the city of Rafah, the southernmost point in the Gaza Strip, where about 1.5 million Palestinians are holed up. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that the Israelis have given Hamas, as you said, 1 week to accept their ceasefire proposal, something of a do-or-die ultimatum, or face an assault on Rafah, which Israel says is serving as a safe haven for the last remnants of Hamas fighters, which they have, as you know, long vowed to destroy. Prime Minister Netanyahu has also said Israel will go into Rafah whether there's a ceasefire or not. So the question whether his position has shifted. Bigger picture, what's at stake here is the prospect that we could be getting closer to the beginning of the end of this 7-month war. The deal, if it is done, would see Hamas release another 33 hostages, not all of them, in exchange for a 40-day lull in the fighting. That could be the beginning of more, longer ceasefires. So the talks are underway. We appear to be making progress, but we're not there yet. Aisha?
And Ryan, just adding to your excellent reporting there, Barak Ravid with Axios is reporting that senior Israeli officials say there are early indications that Hamas will agree to carry out the first phase of the deal, which is to release those hostages. So stay on top of this for us. We appreciate your reporting. Thanks, Ryan.
The 150th round of the Kentucky Derby will take place later today. A look at the latest odds and, of course, all the eye-catching hats. That's next.
Work. Play. Blink. Relief. Work. Play. Blink. Relief.
The only 3-in-1 extended relief formula for dry eyes.
Blink.
Right now, you get a free footlong at Subway. Just buy any footlong in the app, you get one free. Just scan the QR code and enter promo code FLFOGO. It only works on the other side of the screen, buddy.
You still got a landline.
Order now the Subway app.
My daughter and I finally had that conversation. Oh, no, not about that. About what comes next in life for her. I may not be a perfect help, but I want to stay my home, where my family visits often and where my memories are. I can do it with help from a prep cook, wardrobe assistant, and stylist. Someone to help me live right. At home, life's good.
Copy that,
You have
guys.
plans.
Strike one is cleared to engage hostile targets. Watch your backs out there.
We're hitting the road. Talking to some
Save this.
living mobile and cardio mobile. How's your heart? Doing good. Is it? I think so. You think so? But how do you know, right? I don't actually know. You don't actually know? I'm believing so. Let me show you something. It looks like a credit card, but it is a cardio mobile card. That is a FDA cleared EKG device. We'll see how it works.
Yeah. Let me see.
The winner gets to check your heart. Ready?
We'll see you guys next time, alright? Peace out.
You can take a medical grade EKG in just 30 seconds from anywhere.